Hi everyone, it's Miss Bergalassi. Today we will be practicing texture using digital scratchboard techniques in Medibang. I did put a picture on Google Classroom. This is the photograph that I put on there, and after today it will look like this. So one thing I want you to think about while you practice is the characteristics of your animal fur. You always have to remember that length is very important, how long the fur is, the direction of each hair of fur, as well as the value, which is the lightness and darkness of the fur. So when looking at the image that I had put on the Google Classroom, you notice there's a lot of different values, lights and darks, a lot of different directions of the fur, as well as the lengths. When working with Scratchboard, we have to remember that we are removing the black to reveal the white underneath. This is completely opposite than pencil, which we've been working with. When you use pencil, you are depositing color onto a white surface. So the more pencil you deposit, the darker you will get. With Scratchboard, the more that you remove of the black, the whiter it will become. So in this value scale, you'll see at the top of these value scales, there's a darker value. The parts removed, the lines are going to be further apart and less frequent. As you move down the value scale to get a brighter value, you are scratching more and closer together. This is something you must remember when you are working with your Scratchboard. All right, so let's go ahead and begin our practice texture. When you're opening Medibang Paint, you will create a width of 5 and a height of 7. Make sure that your DPI is set to 350 DPI and you can hit done. When you have your blank canvas, you will then hit the plus sign and click on the select an image to add. You should have saved the image that I put in the Google Classroom into your photos, and you can add that and scale it to fit your canvas. You will hit do not extract line art. After this, you will add another layer. Make sure it's a color layer, and this layer should be on top of your fur layer. Make sure that your bucket tool, you do want to go to the top of in your tools and go to the bucket tool. Make sure it's set on black. And make sure the target is on layer. Notice how I just did, I filled that layer, but the target was on canvas. So you do have to make sure that underneath the settings that the target is under layer. And you are going to fill that top layer with black. Bring the opacity down to around 50% so you can see your image underneath. With Scratchboard, we will really only be utilizing our eraser tool. So our eraser tool is up at the top next to your brush tool. And you want to play around with the size. The opacity should always be set at 100, but you should bring your size relatively small. And we really want as much detail as we can. And again, you're really looking at the length of the fur, the direction of the fur, and the value. So you can start with, I always like to start with the lighter values, going in, making sure, again, working slow and always keeping in mind the length, the direction, and the value. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit and have fun watching. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.